Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fangirl Symbol. Sorry for starting a little late. I was having a little moment.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We all have moments.
It's a little Sunday cry moment. I'm fine.
We all have those.
And we're all friends. Me and you all on the internet. This
Yeah.
great parasocial. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, you got James and Mark, friends.
They're my friends.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Mark's my dad.
Yeah.
Officially,
And Mary's here.
unofficially, Mark is my dad. So everyone can call him Mary's dad. Elliot's laughing at me. Stop. Can you hear him?
No.
Stop laughing at me. Stop it. He won't stop. Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
So we're here to talk about more spooky books. It's still October. I feel like I haven't spooked enough, to be honest.
I agree.
And I know we've read spooky books, but it feels like I haven't really truly grasped the Halloween spirit this month.
I'm also lacking in it. I am.
And whatever. We'll just go straight into fall and cozy, I guess, which is honestly sounds great this year. So,
honestly, I'm with you, but also may have some spoopies in November. You don't know.
Why not? Why to continue the spoopies?
Yeah.
Everybody, Five Nights at Freddy's the movie is free on Peacock. It's not great, but I had fun.
Well, we love.
It's really not. Don't go expecting anything. But if you want some animatronic hugs or something, check it out.
Nice.
My favorite character was in there as the only jump scare, so that's all that matters to me. And Matthew Lillard's there. Anyways, we're here to talk about Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service. The first omnibus. Alex, it's not great. No. It was fun. But, Oh, Alex, you got to read this, but we'll talk about it. But we're talking about the first three. It's the first omnibus. It collects the first 3 volumes. So there's only 5. Is that completed?
I think it's completed. I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah.
I know that Teen will be on sometime next month, and we'll read our new reader to talk about all of it. So if you're going to join for that one,
sweet.
She's just waiting for her Hoopla allowance, whatever it is. I don't have Hoopla to come.
It'll start over. Yeah, November.
Yeah. So she'll definitely be joining for that one. But I don't know if you can still purchase these in stock trades. Normally we say a book and we say you can purchase it here. I'm not sure with these ones because these would go in and out because we never would know if they would continue to be available or they're going to be continued. Right. Okay, you can get the 5th omnibus, which I recommend because if you're going to get into these, I super recommend. I wish you could see how great. I don't know how to describe this paper. It's almost like a cardboard,
It's cardboardy, but but nice.
But very nice.
Maybe like a recycled situation.
Yeah. It's a very nice, thick, I super recommend it. You can get, I'll share my screen. You can get the 5th omnibus. There's only 5 on in stock trades right now for 36% off, which is really good. It's very good.
Yes.
And of course, with great quality shipping, and you get it pretty quickly. Super worth it. And while you're there, get a bunch of other stuff like Asadora, the new volume of that is out. If you want something, a different kind of manga feel, that's another good one.
There's a whole manga sale right now that I recently partook in.
I can't afford anything.
It was a great time. I mean, the manga that I got was $2. So.
Oh my God, these are all 75% off.
Yeah, there's great stuff in here. Some of them are odd volumes, but grab them
Batman Justice Buster, the DC manga. Oh, these are so cheap.
Got the donuts one. Come on, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I wish I had. Okay,
and the Joker. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't buy this for myself actually.
I bought it from the sale because it was so cheap. I was like,
that's so, guys, you got to get one Operation Joker. $250. That's so good. Creamy Mommy for only $3. Stop it. Elliot's pretty like he's spraying me with a water bottle right now. Superman versus Meshi.
Yeah.
I already had this.
The dog and a cat every day is fun.
This is the best, you guys. Please read this and watch it. That's very good. Yuzu Pet Vet.
There you go.
Check it out. But of course, we talk about stock trades all the time. You can get your books up to 50% off, sometimes 75%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, of course, if you don't get enough for free shipping, which is $50 in the United States, it's like $4 flat.
Which is also amazing. Yeah.
I got a package in recently because I had purchased stuff live. the problem with them sponsoring us is that I then use any money we get from them typically to buy books.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a good net zero.
I was gonna say they probably know that because I did the same thing.
oh, all right. Well, honestly, if they just gave me a credit, it would be the same deal.
Yeah, it would.
But anyways, I'll be showing that next week when we do our hauls and reads. So, but check out In Stock Trades.
Awesome, for sure.
Everyone should get to $50 quick because that new Black Hammer library is out. I don't own any of them, and I'd like to because I still want to read it with you.
Honestly, you should. One moment.
Also, Jessica, I did finish Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. So once Kristen's done, we can schedule a call.
I do have the new Black Hammer from IST that came in.
Very nice.
It ships so fast, too.
I liked what I've read of it so far, so I'd like to read more.
It's a good time.
So let's get to the topic of today. Oh, by the way, I did try to attempt Halloween, but not much. Part of it's just that it's comfy, to be real.
Adorable. It's adorable.
You know me, I have so many costumes. Alex understands. Alex also has a fellow cosplay friend. We've cosplayed together. He's a fantastic cosplayer. We have a ton of cosplays. I don't know about Alex, but when it comes to Halloween, I phone it in.
It makes sense.
I've got 50 wigs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah. Yeah, it's from Monster Hunter.
Oh, cute.
I bought this in Japan before I even knew what Monster Hunter was.
Love that.
So, oh God, like over 10 years ago when I was an exchange student. Anyways. So continuing the Halloween vibes, Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service. So this is a little bit different than some horror manga that we talk about. And this one, out of everything we read this month, is a 10 out of 10. Easy. I will say that the other stuff we read this month was tough. We were very excited for them. They did not hit the mark, which is a bummer because usually we have these really good books to talk about and then we just talk about how cozy they are. And that's how I like to spend October with you. And it didn't work that way.
Yeah, it really didn't.
Of course, the new Junji Ito book was coming out late this month. That didn't help. That's out now.
I do have it, by the way. So
I haven't gotten it yet, so we'll do that next month. I will say Betwixt, that horror anthology, didn't land either.
I saw you rated that, and mine is still in the mail. So I'm like, oh no, I hate that
I'm glad that I have it. You know,
Are you?
like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I have it. I think there were some interesting stories in there. They just didn't land. And it may be that you and I have read so many great anthologies that I'm worried that our bar is too high now. But I'm not sure if that's the case because I also watch a ton of horror anthologies as well. I can just look through these and see, oh man, just these little tweaks would make it work better. It was still cool to have because there's like a Japanese writer artist section and then like a Western writer artist section. And they do so basically you can start on either side of the book,
that's
which
neat.
is very cool. And of course you have that Junji Ito cover. That was neat. And there's some cool like writers artists in there. You have like the Leslie Hung who does the art for Stalk Girl in there. Although even for her, I was like, I know your art is like, it felt like it wasn't, I don't know if she will give us much time, but like her art and her books are really good. But anyways, okay. And if anyone wants to, like Jessica, I have all of these, so if you want to borrow them, you can. So, Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service. The best way to discuss this or talk about it, I guess, the name is very much what it is. So you have these group of students, they went to like Buddhist school, part of them, and they all have various skills. And they end up kind of fulfilling the dead's last wishes, which usually ends up being like, bring me to this place or say this to somebody, something like that, so that they can pass on.
And they try to get paid for doing these services.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, here's the lottery numbers or something. Like that was the first one. It's like, well, let's use this to build the business. So yeah, they are trying to get paid. So there's very much like, kind of like I hate saying monster of the week when this isn't a monster thing, but you have like, there's obviously going to be like an ongoing thing, but it's kind of a case by case.
Which I like that setup.
Me too.
It felt like you're watching like a season of TV, you know, per volume, really. And that was nice.
I guess we can go by to talk about the characters themselves. Where's a good breakdown of that in here?
I was gonna say there has to be one, right?
Here's the other thing. So this book is full of it says like parental advisory, explicit content on here.
Right.
I don't know how I got away with this when I was younger, but it is very explicit. So I can't like unlike Junji Ito books, which there's some like grotesque stuff. I you can flip through and show stuff, no problem. This one we have to be very careful with because there's a lot of nudity in here.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, and all of them are corpses.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of body parts as well. Like, I mean, like random arms and stuff. I mean, just like grotesque.
It's much more like realistic gore than other things are. Not so much that I felt sick reading it. I felt much more sick reading Fever Dream by George R.R. Martin, that graphic novel. I could read this all day. That one I felt sick to my stomach. But we can talk about that some other time. So we have a selection of characters. I was hoping there'd be a nice breakdown on here. But I'm not seeing it.
We do have like the chapter
let me
pictures to show you who's who. So you have this kid with the puppet. And I'm still not used to flipping. And the puppet is like an alien that talks through his puppet.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. Then you have, of course, our kind of main guy here who can actually talk to the dead or they can talk through him, really.
Yeah.
And what does she do again?
So she's learned embalming.
She's the embalmer
in the States. So she went to so in Japan they don't typically do, usually it's cremation. So it's a little education time. So typically, depending on what religion you tend to like skew towards, like Shintoism or Buddhism, the handling of the body is seen as like a lower caste, lower class job. Typically people won't interact with you if you do that kind of work. So a lot of times you're not looking at a full body. You're getting like things cremated instead. So for her, she went to the States and learned mortuary science, learned embalming, which would not be typical where she lives, basically. And then we've got, is it the guy with the black hair who does like, they can find the bodies?
Yeah, with the little like,
the little
talisman
sticks.
thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the talisman. So he like scries for bodies. And then we have, they're on the covers. Let me pull my little sticker off. I'm sorry, this is riveting. Oh, they're on the book.
Oh, they are on the book. It literally says on it.
Okay. So we have our psychic, our dowsing, our hacking, and then we've got our puppet, the alien, the guy who channels that puppet, and then embalming. And then we get some other people as we move along, some different characters, but not in this volume. So basically, they just kind of find each other by accident a little bit, and then figure out there's something that they can do. How else to talk about this? There's so much.
And I love how they are trying to, the whole time they're trying to make it a business because they're like, we don't have jobs and we need money. We're doing this service for these, corpses. So they try their best to somehow get paid. It doesn't often work. So it essentially becomes what they say is like kind of a volunteer kind of thing. They're just like, we do this for free, apparently. And out of the goodness of our hearts, I guess, like, which is kind of extra funny and entertaining because they're not necessarily like great people.
No, they all have their own problems. They're all very just like, they are very flawed individuals, all of them. And they all have their own reasons for doing things. And it's almost like, it reminds me a little bit of like Angel, where you have Angel Investigations, where you have this group that like hopes that they get paid, but often they don't. And then their own like inner things get in the way. And obviously some of them have a bigger picture around them that we're not quite seeing, especially our main guy, where not only is he able to speak with the dead, but we learn that sometimes he can animate those dead. And that there's some like spirit that we don't know anything about that has a little more power over him, or like that he is working with that he's not even completely aware of, I think. So, or should we just talk about the stories, I guess?
Well, and I do want to point out, like you mentioned the Angel thing. That's kind of where my head went, especially like early Angel and later Angel both kind of had the monster of the week. You get a little thing. And that was very much how this volume, at least, was kind of laid out. I'm thinking with what he's dealing with and everything, we'll get more of eventually.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't went beyond this. I'm looking forward to that. But I also have to say, I love how you can tell directly where the volumes are cut throughout this because of all of those sound effects pages you get.
Yeah, which is very cool. So in Japanese manga, there's a lot of like sound effect words, a lot of onomatopoeias, basically. There in Japan, there's like an onomatopoeia for like everything. And as someone who has a has a degree in it, I don't know all of them. It takes a lot. And so at the end of each volume, they break it down page by page to explain what each one means. So if you're curious about, because they don't write it down in English, they keep it in its original like katakana or hiragana or whatever. And then they explain it to you later. They also explain some cultural things.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. There was one later, it isn't in this book, it was a later one that like an American came by and I couldn't understand why her dialogue was the way she was. But the art is fantastic. It's very silly. Like at this point, where they go out on a case and they find a body in this cabinet, and they have to carry it in there. So it has straps so they're carrying it away with them to try to deliver this body to where it wants to go. Love that.
Yeah, that was great. And some of it is like, it's so funny. It really mixes the over the top, like kind of grotesque stuff you see, the body horror aspects of it, with silliness. Because these characters, a lot of them are like silly and kind of funny and just have really distinct kind of entertaining personalities. And then they mix it with like this gross thing that they're kind of doing and having to deal with in a really great way.
Do you mean like the story in here? So the book is called Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. There is like a name for each like story and chapter in here. If that's what you're asking about. But they've done things like solve like killings, like figure out who's like beheading bodies and things.
Or how someone died. There's one corpse that like had amnesia and was like, I don't even know who I am. So they have to figure that out.
That was very cool because it's about this like bigger network of things happening.
Yeah, we see some like creepy like you know what? There's some stories in here that really made me think, oh, I wonder if freaking Squid Game read this before. Like the people read this beforehand, because there is absolutely a thing in here that was like, oh, that's like Squid Game. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, that one story. Yeah, it's very good because it's great because like not only are we just having these like silly stories and people interacting, but a lot of these have like kind of deeper meanings that like they kind of tied into like the culture at the time too. So just the humanity of what people do and like how they deal with death and kind of just I don't know, it all kind of seeps in here. Like oh man, oh gosh, like the guy who puts together all the bodies, like cuts them apart. So they find like weird corpses. So one of the stories, and I'm trying to give, there's a lot in here. I'm not going to give it away, but in one of the stories, they find a body, but it's a lot of bodies put together, which makes it more difficult when you're trying to have a body talk through you. So they are like literally finding this serial killer and figure out what's happening, how this guy's like luring women in to re-put them together of his like perfect creation.
Yeah, that one was great. The Squid Game one I'm mentioning, maybe I should actually talk about it a little bit.
This is the first omnibus, so go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, so they start, I guess they start seeing those symbols on the doors first, trying to figure out where this body came from. And there are these like creepy symbols on some random doors, and then they're seeing other markings. They're like, what is going on? Like,
what weird
is
arrows in some places, and
they're like, this has to mean something. So they figure out that there is this game going on where these people who are wanting to kill themselves, I was like, I don't know how else to say this, go online and they're like, we want to be a part of this game. They're way in debt. Again, Squid Game. They're all in debt. They're having all these problems, and they're just like, we don't know how to get out of this, so we don't want to live anymore. But they go into this game where they all essentially like have these markings on their door, and they're trying to find each other to kill each other, because I think it's like the third of them that end up standing. get the money.
Yeah, basically it's you for every person you kill, you get money, as long as you like stay out of the radar. But yeah, there's like a pool. Everybody puts in so much. There's a pool that happens, and so whoever's like kind of last. And it works great because these people are like, hey, I want to die, but I can't bring myself to do it. And then also part of that is just debt. That's kind of crushing them. And if they didn't have that, their life would be worth living. And yeah, very Squid Game, very like, I mean, it's just an interesting concept anyways, because you know, the suicide rate, and sorry, I just triggered for talking about this, but the suicide rate in Japan is so high and depression rate is so high. So to kind of see it done in this way is very interesting. And not exactly an unusual Japanese kind of manga story sometimes, because there's a lot of stories like this, like packs and stuff like that. We saw, you know, a similar thing in Junji Ito's book.
Well, and it's a good point to mention the trigger warning. There are a lot in here. There's a lot happening, so be aware of that. I feel like we could just give you a laundry list of them.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would look into it first.
I will say some of the words that they use. I guess when this first was translated and came out is when I was a youth, like teens. So even within that amount of time, as we've seen with like a lot of things, like even was Invincible, right? Language has changed a lot from the time that came out to when it was adapted. So there are some words in here I would never use. The way that they show the female body, I wouldn't always appreciate. But it doesn't feel like exploitative. Like I read a book recently, Fever Dream, where there were, you know, nude women in that, but it was shown in a pin-up-y way. That's not how this is. But it is there. A lot of like body parts cut up. Like you're going to see a lot of things that are tough, and it's going to deal with a lot of things that are tough to deal with.
There's a lot of messed up stuff here. Yeah.
Be prepared. Somehow it's still like, despite all of that, I think you're right, because the characters make it so fun.
And I think, you know, we've talked about this with Ito as well. The fact that it's black and white helps. You know, there is a lot of blood, but the fact that you're not seeing every color of it certainly is more palatable.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, I think I prefer a lot of my horror that way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions
I get
to that, but there's something about it that just, it keeps it spooky without like being it too real.
It's not freaking you out so much. Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to mention, I really love, because they meet other characters they go through here, other kind of weirdos. And one of the people that they start to meet is this like guy who works in the government, but he feels very much like former Yakuza, but he's like, no, I'm not. I'm just like a civil servant. And it's just very like goofy. These guys, like this is later, but they run into an American girl and she's so funny. And like, she's got a bikini on. She's got a cowboy hat. She likes bugs a lot. Like, and like, who is this? Who is this for? And she's like, howdy, y'all. Like, I love an American stereotype in Japanese manga so much.
Yeah, it is like we do meet like very interesting characters beyond the main cast. And I do wonder, I mean, the whole time you're kind of like, there are longer threads throughout this. It is very Monster of the Week, but like, I want to know what's going to happen. Did you go beyond this already? Like,
I was reading to prep to do it with Tina. I ended up not. So I read the first 6 volumes. So that's the first 2 omnibuses. So that's all I read so far, because she had read 9 volumes by then.
I'll be curious how this ends. And do we know if it got an ending or was it canceled?
I don't know.
Okay.
You should read with us next month.
Yeah,
I'll just put off to the end so we have time.
I will say that is one thing. It is a bit dense.
It is
a bit dense.
It takes a bit. It's good. It just takes a bit.
Yeah, there's just like more. I'm like, can I show this? There's more like dialogue than I think, you know, perhaps one might assume from a typical manga. And some of it's like, I mean, I read all of this page. You know what I mean? There's this whole thing here. So,
God, the art's so good. The characters are so expressive. Like, oops. It's hard. Again, I can't just flip through.
Yeah.
But just, the style, is this a guy who made this? Or is it 2? It's 2 people. So there's, I guess, a writer and illustrator. But the art style in this, they just feel so lifelike. It feels so different. Like, I don't see a lot of manga with this type of style.
Yeah, I like
which I appreciate a lot because horror manga, luckily, it feels like it's very diverse category, unlike a lot of other like mainstay manga that kind of feels like it. You can tell the difference, but you're like, yeah, this is what it is. But I love the way the illustrator. I love the way they do like the text, especially like for example when he's channeling. Oh, there we go. The way that they separate everything is really cool.
I really like that the font choice and the way that was done, as well as when the puppet talks.
Oh, love the puppet.
Yeah, you get a nice vibe from like how like you just feel a certain way with how he's talking. I love when people do that well, and I think it was really done well here, especially with the corpses when they would talk, because you could still read it just fine, even though the words are kind of split up and disjointed. So you can kind of hear how this corpse is probably talking through him, and it's difficult and it's dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that too.
Oh, can we talk about that middle story with the funeral home with like the convicts and like people on death row and stuff?
Oh yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta talk about this one story because I really, really like it. So the guy who like has the puppet and channels that one alien, not a bunch of aliens, just this one alien. For now, anyways. He starts working at this funeral home and he figures out something shady's happening in the basement. And basically, there's a girl that they meet, so he's able to bring the dead back to life. Now, not in a really substantial way. They're very, like, something's wrong with them. But she brings them back to life momentarily. And so they do this thing where they bring back killers for the family members to, like, basically exact their revenge and kind of get that that closure. But it is truly horrific. Like, but it's horrific and something you would understand. So all these stories are like, you see, they're like, I get it, but also
yeah, that one was rough, but it was so interesting too, because it makes you think about that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, because I get it. Like, there's like, hey, this person, killed your daughter or whatever. They're right here. And, they're already dead. So you're not doing anything. This isn't a sin. It isn't, the way that they're framing it, the way he's selling it. Of course, he's making it a business, but like, this is how you can get the closure you need. But then there's also these talks about like what's just and what's not, what's black and white for this. Like, but what if they weren't actually the original killer? What if this was like, how do you know that justice, was done fairly? How do you know this is the right person or not? It's very good. There's
some nice twists in that. In regards to that conversation. Like, I really like how that ended.
It went a lot of places where I didn't think it was going to go, and it included a lot of characters I didn't think it was going to include, of who exactly is like related to this. Very cool.
Yeah. Like, that one was that was one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah. Oh. I'm going to hear you and I'm freaking out. I need to get one of those little like circle things you put on your mic where it makes sure it only picks up one thing. But I don't know how to do that. So I'll see somebody come over and like work on my lighting and stuff for me. That's not related to anything. They're losing it. I'm so sorry.
She's got a lot of opinions.
Pizza's being delivered. That's why.
I think that's time then.
No, it's okay. But I love this book series, and I'm glad that revisiting it, because you and I talked about like, what if this isn't good, actually?
Yeah.
Because you and I read, the earlier bits long time ago, back when it was like single volumes, and without knowing that it was ever going to be continued, because for a long time it wasn't. And they were like, hey, surprise, or like it was out of print, you couldn't get it. And like, well, surprise, we're going to release these in omnibus format. We're like, okay, cool. But then those got canceled for years. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? And so you go ahead and buy it on anyways because you're all excited. And you're like, but what if it isn't actually good?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like buying all the Buffy comics. You're like, well, I'm buying. I've committed to this. But you're like, finally read it. And you're like, oh, actually. I mean, most of them are very good. But there's a lot of stinkers in there.
Yeah.
Angel. And so you don't know. But this one definitely, this fits the spooky mold so well. there's nothing else like this out there.
I agree. It is a great time. I look forward to continuing. What's nice about this too is, I'm planning to pick up the next one fairly soon, but even if you put it down, the fact that it's so monster of the week, especially in the beginning, is really helpful with being able to like pick it back up too.
Mm-hmm. It makes it easy to remember. It's so segmented. Yeah. You go story by story. You're not feeling like you're losing a lot, and that might change as we continue.
Mm-hmm.
But I am so excited to read more of it.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I can't wait to dig into all of these. I feel like this will be something that is a definite keep forever and like lend to people. Like already, I'm really excited for Jessica to read it because I think she'll like it.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Oh, it's so cool. Especially after so many disappointing Halloween reads so far.
I agree. This is a great one.
Everything's been just really mid, which is a word I've never said on stream, but it's been mid, and I feel like that fits it.
Mid, if not less than mid.
Yeah, less than mid. Bummer. But let's talk about other things. Good news, Pluto just dropped on Netflix.
I saw that.
I'm waiting till I'm so busy that I want to wait until it's like a treat to watch all day. So I'm kind of saving it, and I want to show it to Ellie because he hasn't read Pluto, so I want him to see that also. So that's super exciting. Of course, the FNAF movie came out, so everyone's very excited for me. Thank you, appreciate it. I saw it opening night. I had a little T-shirt on. I didn't go too hard.
Love that.
The kids cosplaying in front of me did talk the entire time.
Oh no.
So that was a bummer. But I did have some friends join me out of support, which is very sweet of them.
Very sweet.
I did feel a little bad because I was like, here it is. But that's still fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, what else has happened?
I got nothing for you. I got 0 things for you. Other than, of course, you should watch Jessica and I at 1 Eastern today. Talking about the autumnal. That's right. Is it a stinker? Is it not? Find out.
You can't tell me here because it'd be a spoiler.
That's right.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much else happening in the world, really. Except for things not related to comic books, like Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, which James also read. Yay. And that Kristen's almost done with.
Yeah.
So that's the whole shebang.
That's it. That's all I got. Well, go buy this from IST.
Go buy it. Well, you can buy this one from IST, but you can buy the 5th one.
Right. Go buy that one.
Go buy that one there, and then hope you can find the rest elsewhere, I guess.
I believe you can. Yeah.
I think you still can.
Yeah.
It would be a shame not to. We'll be back next Sunday with Halls and Reads.
That's all right.
It's November 5th. And then we'll figure out the rest of the month as we figure it out. We'll just see what we're feeling like. I'd love to read more of this personally.
Maybe throw in that Etho. Nice. Yeah.
We should probably throw in like one Western comic book or something.
Oh, fine. For those people.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
A cozy fall read or something.
Yeah. We'll find something.
There's got to be a new cozy fall read. Or like a new first, second book would be nice.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Or we just, I don't know, shoot the shit and just talk about books. Which would be fine too.
Love that too.
I wish there was a better way to look at all the new releases for the year from all the publishers. I wish that they made that easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that we could like really just chill and like look through in a way that felt good.
We could do that for previews. I could show you how.
Sure. Okay.
There's an easy way to do it. Yeah.
And we wouldn't just read them off either. We just talk about stuff. But,
That's right.
In December, I feel like we should do something fun for the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'd still do the bracket thing. I'm not sure the best way to do that.
We'll figure that out. Yeah.
But we've read some stinkers, so it'll be a lot easier than people think, I guess.
Right.
But be fun.
Totally.
Well, I guess I'll go eat some pizza. Go download that Watermelon game. Everybody in the chat, if you have a Switch, go download the Watermelon game and tell me your high score after you play it. It's only $2.50.
Beautiful, beautiful price.
It's so fun and addictive. And if you need to shut your brain off, that's the way to do it. Super recommend. I hope you guys have a fun Halloween day. I'm not doing anything for it, but there's always next year, you know?
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm ready for Christmas. I'm ready for fall and like I don't know. I don't normally start this early, but I kind of want to start this early. I just want to be comfy and cozy and in blankets with like a mug of cocoa or something.
Love that.
And some crappy movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next week. Check out Kristen's show later. Have a good Sunday. Goodbye.